Okay, we got Carvana here. My last Carvana video did really well, so I thought I'd give you guys an update and just see, what's going on. So, looks to be pulling back. I had this drawn in the sense that, price is bullish. It's above this moving average. So I had this drawn out based on a buy position if price broke this area, but it did not. So, and it actually broke even lower than it previously was. It completely filled this gap now. So what I'm going to do is disregard this, and I'm going to consider a short position, I think. So what we're going to do is pull these down a little bit. The monthly high is about 54. So we're going to pull these down because now this is our new monthly range because we're looking at a short position. So we'll just cinch these up a little bit here. So now if $54 is our high for the month-ish, you can see right here, about August 3rd kind of hit its high, and then boom, into this zone. You got this big bearish engulfing candle out of this zone, and then nothing but bears since. Broke this low, completely filled this gap. So, price might still be bullish overall because it is above this moving average, and it did have this nice bull run. So I'm not saying it's not still bullish, but I'm saying for the short term, for the rest of the month, I would be looking for, a short position. So you can kind of see all these wicks here. Price completely, broke this zone now, retested into it. So I'm looking for a short position, and I want to find an area where price has already rejected on the upside. So looking here, there's not much. This candle really sticks out for me because it gapped and then pulled back heavily. So plus there's some wicks in here. So I like that. I like this area. So, and I also like that if we can go on the 1 hour here, kind of see, I'm just curious if this pulled back at all. If you can count this as a pullback, then yes, it did. It hit 50% perfect. So there is that. You can see, yeah, price is just, it's got these lower highs, lower lows. This is just textbook bearish structure. You got this area, broke this area here. It's lower. So now you're looking for a pullback upwards and then entering a short position. So this area is significant for me. I'm going to find a, because price does gravitate towards whole numbers, I'm going to find one here. I think it's 48 bucks. I think 48 is kind of our ideal entry. If price comes up that high, you can see that there is also other resistance here. So this could be a factor that price doesn't even break above this area, to be honest. So something like this could happen. This area obviously is significant. This is the more conservative approach would be to wait for price to come up to here and reject, because that would be like a full 50% retracement of this entire segment. Something like this. Yeah, you can see that aligns perfect. This 50%, between 50% and 618 is this area. You can see a bunch of big daily wicks here. So this is a 4 hour candle. You can see a bunch of 4 hour wicks here. I wonder if there's daily ones. Yeah, so there is some daily ones here, and then you did have this big bearish candle after price gapped. It completely took it out. So I do favor the $48 level, but it might not make it up that high because there is some resistance here between 40, roughly like right around 43. You can see these wicks. You can see this one, this one, this one, this one, and then finally broke, and now we have this here. So I'll actually draw this out as well so we can see. So this $43 level has been significant as well. But obviously I like the $48 level better to sell at. So, but we'll see. Price seems to be really 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 respecting this $43 mark. So, you know, it's totally fair, totally possible that price just comes up to here and starts selling off. Delete this so we can see better. Something like this. I mean, you get a much better stop loss. You'll get a much sooner entry. You don't have to wait as long for price to come up to 48. So, I mean, those are all good considerations. I actually don't mind this trade at all. I think that's pretty reasonable. Ideally, I would prefer 48, but I'm not against this. I think that as far as recent structure goes, this has been significant. You can see 43, you know, it held here once, twice, this candle, so that's 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then price gapped heavily on the open and then completely pulled back and closed below this $43 level. Then the next 2 days rejected this level. So I think $43 is pretty significant for price to respect and then sell off again from once it hits that price again. You can see this candle here, this 4-hour candle. So price opened, it gapped downwards a little bit, but then completely filled and then closed fully the next 4-hour candle. So there's only ever 2 4-hour candles during a day when you're trading stocks. So this is the first half of the day, this is the second. So the first half super bullish, the second half tiny baby pullback, a little bit of a sell-off. It was a Friday, so completely reasonable. So this is actually a good sign that there's bulls here. So it did make a new lower low and it did completely fill this gap, but I do think there's enough bulls here that it's going to push price up a bit. And so we'll just see if it pushes past 43, then we're looking at 48. But if it doesn't push past 43, then, I mean, if we start getting a bunch of wicks in this area, then you're looking for a short position. And I'd be super happy with this $43 sell. So 43 down to 29 to end the month. I think it's definitely within range. I think even if Carvana is still bullish, you can see after these huge bull months, I mean, it's not unreasonable for this to pull back a little bit. So, yeah, I think, but again, on this, you have, on the weekly aspect, you can see these last 4 weeks, and then more specifically, this previous week that closed, it closed, you know, bearish engulfing. So this definitely wants to go down to the downside for the next little bit. We'll see if it can remain, you know, bullish long term. Who knows? It's still way above this moving average, so it's going to be a long time before this moving average even catches up to 29 bucks. So, but I do think for the rest of the month this is bearish, and I do think it's, you know, the ranges between 54 and 29 is what's that, 21, 25 bucks, 26 bucks. So yeah, which, you know, according to these months is all bang on. I think, well, actually it might be a little bit less, because this says, well, 33, 16, 7, 3, no, sorry, 23, 22, 23, 25. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what it really does for range. It is summer months, so you can see there's an area of liquidity here as well. So it might not, you know, to be completely fair, it might not make it past this area for the month, but we're going to be hopeful. I'm not going to take a trade if I can't see an adequate risk to reward. So if I'm going to take a short position at 43 bucks, I want to hold it 29 based on the price action and if it allows for it. But might have a tough time going that low this month. Might be next month kind of thing. September back, you know, when summer months are done and normal trading is resumed. But so yeah, that's Carvana. So first position, we're looking at $43 if it starts rejecting. Second position at 48. If it breaks through this 43 level, then yeah, straight to 48 and look for a trade setup and entry at $48 and still target the 29 for the month. I think it's reasonable. I think 26 bucks isn't crazy. Could even shrink it up to, you know, maybe 20, maybe 34, because this would put us at $21 for the month. So that's super reasonable. Oh, I accidentally copied all these. So yeah, that risk reward isn't as good, but and if you wanted to hold the trade longer term, so I'm basing this on the fact that taking this position, let's say at $43 and holding it for the month, which would be only 2 more weeks, then I'd be looking at $34 just based on range. So but if you wanted to hold it longer than that, then then you're looking at below 34. So especially as more liquidity comes into the market towards the end of summer and beginning of fall, then price will probably start moving a little bit better. And if it's still moving to the downside and it's in your favor, then you'll get a much better risk to reward, and it'll break sub $34 levels, and it'll be a very good entry then if you enter at 43 or even at 48. So but yeah, my first, I can delete all these, I don't know why there's so many. Yeah, my first primary entry would be $43, and then but ideally it comes back up to 48. Then you get a proper retest. You get you always want to sell at the highest price, so obviously 48 is better than 43, but if it can't break 43, or if it can't break 43, then we're selling at 43. So that is Carvana.